Las Vegas has always been a city that loves to shock and amaze. Picture this: a volcano erupting in the middle of the desert, fountains dancing to music like they had a mind of their own, and a giant glass gondola drifting through a shopping mall. Yes, some resorts didn't just push boundaries, they practically rewrote the rules of reality. Over the decades, these extravagant creations became icons, drawing millions of visitors eager to see, touch, and photograph the impossible. But as the city evolved, some of these landmarks struggled to keep up with newer, flashier neighbors. Volcanoes were torn down, gondolas replaced, and the Strip itself seemed to shift from spectacle to sleek modernity almost overnight. In this video, we'll take a closer look at 15 luxury U.S. tourist icons, from the fiery Mirage volcano to the towering Venetian canals, exploring their rise to fame, their unforgettable excesses, and the quiet or dramatic ways they've fallen behind in a city that never stops reinventing itself. If you ever strolled along the Las Vegas Strip in the late 1980s or early 1990s, the Mirage was definitely an unforgettable destination. It wasn't just a hotel or casino. Mirage seemed to be a statement about the future of Las Vegas, a place where resorts didn't just offer gambling, but a complete entertainment experience. With its famous outdoor erupting volcano and the legendary Siegfried and Roy shows, Mirage drew millions of visitors who paused, marveled, and soaked in the magical atmosphere, even if they never stepped into the casino. When Mirage opened in 1989 under Steve Wynn's direction, a tropical breath appeared in the Nevada desert, with lakes, trees, erupting volcanoes, and spectacular shows. Mirage instantly set a new standard for luxury resorts, from Bellagio to Venetian, becoming a Las Vegas 2 icon. But time didn't stand still. When Hard Rock International acquired it in 2022, Mirage gradually changed. The volcano was dismantled, and the old symbols gave way to a modern style. Many longtime visitors, like those sharing their experiences, still mourned the place they once called home in Vegas. By 2024, the ultimate volcano show came to an end. A part of Las Vegas history disappeared, but Mirage remains an icon in visitors' minds, a vivid testament to the Strip's glorious and magical days. Before moving on to the next section, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories and explorations of Las Vegas history. Did you hit it? Okay, let's continue. Bellagio, born in 1998 under Steve Wynn's vision, once redefined the standard of luxury in Las Vegas. A $40 million fountain, dazzling Murano glass lobby, art gallery, and Michelin-starred restaurants all combined to create an experience that made many visitors feel like they had stepped into another world for the first time. Older guests still remember those moments, sitting and watching the dancing water, listening to music in the lobby, or wandering through the artificial tropical conservatory, a classic luxury feeling unmatched anywhere else. But for today's audience, Bellagio has started to show signs of aging. Visitors over 40 may still see it as beautiful, but lacking in energy. Younger generations hardly pay attention. Some over-the-top details, like the ADS Rock Gallery or occasionally underperforming fountains, sometimes make the experience feel more like a living museum than a modern resort. Visitors to Vegas increasingly prioritize tech-friendly, entertainment-first experiences, places perfect for selfies, with bright LED lights and interactive games, rather than just admiring a grand lobby. Bellagio still holds its iconic status, but now stands at a crossroads between the classic luxury of old Vegas and the pressure to innovate to attract younger visitors. It hasn't collapsed, but its golden era now lives vividly in the memories of older guests, while serving as a mirror for new resorts to understand what true luxury means in modern Vegas. Caesar's Palace opened on the 5th of August 1966 under the guidance of Jay Sarno, with only about 680 rooms at the time. From the very beginning, it seemed to become an unmissable destination for anyone seeking luxury and entertainment. The brand's signature wasn't just the stone columns and statues evoking ancient Rome, but also the Forum Shops, which opened in 1992, creating a miniature city where visitors could shop high-end and enjoy fine dining simultaneously. For nearly 60 years, Caesar's Palace has appeared as a standard of luxury, from Hollywood movies to travel advertisements. From headline boxing matches to performances at the Coliseum, it has seemed like a true temple of entertainment. Yet Las Vegas tourism today seems very different. International visitors have declined, and American guests are increasingly cautious with spending, especially on expensive getaways. New resorts like Resorts World, Wynn, and the Venetian offer fresh, modern experiences, making Caesars feel older, even though it was once the Strip's most luxurious resort. If you enjoy exploring the history and evolution of Las Vegas resorts like Caesars, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more in-depth stories. At the same time, Caesars Palace remains a massive property with nearly 4,000 rooms and a vast casino. But currently, the owners seem to focus profits on other areas such as restaurant brands, theaters, large events, and hidden fees, making the experience feel more expensive and sometimes not matching the luxury expectations of the past. Some current guests comment that the experience at Caesars feels increasingly costly but not worth the price. The old style with classic Roman details seems out of place next to new, shiny, tech-savvy resorts, making some feel that Caesars is slightly outdated. Certain parts of Caesars have been upgraded over time, like the main entrance, new fountains, and entertainment areas, but they don't seem to create the same groundbreaking impact as in the past. A few high-end restaurants that were once highlights, like Mr. Chow, have closed, causing many to reminisce about the pure luxury style of old. It seems Caesars is trying to maintain its iconic status, but the internal cultural shifts and new market rhythms create a sense of nostalgia tinged with regret. Perhaps when mentioning the Las Vegas Strip, few can forget Luxor, a towering pyramid with the sky beam flashing like a landmark across the Nevada desert. The bizarre combination of ancient Egyptian architecture and modern lights made Luxor a quirky, fascinating highlight, leaving many visitors with a lasting memory the first time they saw it. Luxor opened on the 15th of October, 1993, built by Circus Enterprises at a cost of hundreds of millions of dollars. Amid the themed resort wars with MGM Grand and Treasure Island, Luxor appeared as a bold architectural statement, seemingly saying, Vegas is no longer just about casinos, it's about the full experience. With a nearly 350 feet pyramid, sleek black glass, and the prominent sky beam, Luxor quickly became one of the most recognizable structures on the Strip. Inside, tourists could find a fantastical Egyptian-themed world from Nile-simulated corridors to technology-driven experiences that seemed like the future of Vegas at the time. 2 additional towers later expanded the scale to over 4,400 rooms, increasing capacity and the range of experiences. For many years, Luxor was undoubtedly one of the most prominent attractions on the Strip. The pyramid at night, with its beam shooting into the sky, became an icon of a wild, youthful, yet emblematic Vegas. Luxor sits at the far south end of the Strip, and although there is a tram connecting it to Excalibur and Mandalay Bay, the location feels slightly far from the center of luxury resorts and modern experiences. As new resorts emerged, offering a more modern, tech-savvy, and upscale style, Luxor increasingly appears outdated in the eyes of some visitors. Today, Luxor seems to be considered more of a mid-range resort than a high-end one. Many reviews suggest the experience is affordable but can't compare to Bellagio or Wynn in luxury. Luxor seems to try to balance affordability with maintaining its distinctive experience, but sometimes the result makes visitors feel both familiar and strange, without truly feeling luxurious. You see, Luxor hasn't exactly collapsed, but its former glory seems to have faded with the changing market. For many older guests, memories of Luxor the Skybeam, distinctive architecture, and the feeling of entering another world remain part of classic Vegas's soul, a wonder unmatched by any other resort on the Strip or on Earth. The Venetian was built on the site of the former Sands Hotel and Casino, an icon of Old Vegas and the gateway for the legendary Rat Pack generation. With a cost of around $1.5 billion, it seemed to be one of the most ambitious resorts of its time. The idea of bringing Renaissance Venice into the Nevada desert wasn't just about architecture, but about experience. Indoor canals, gondolas, and lavish art galleries created a fantastical world never before seen on the Strip. Perhaps it was this that made the Venetian a symbol of luxury at the time, changing the way visitors saw Vegas from a pure casino destination to a full resort experience. Later, the Palazzo was introduced as a more modern and expansive upgrade, with over 3,000 rooms and a more refined Italian style. When Venetian and Palazzo are considered as a single entity, the total number of rooms exceeds 7,000, making them among the largest hotels in the world, seemingly challenging all limits of scale and resort experience. In the 2000s, Venetian Palazzo became the standard image of luxury in Vegas. Winding indoor canals, lights reflecting on the water, and the Grand Canal Shoppes with high-end fashion brands made every step feel lavish. Many older visitors likely still remember gliding along the gondola, listening to gondoliers croon Italian songs, or strolling through sparkling marble-floored shopping areas. These two resorts were once the gold standard of premium experiences on the Strip, appearing in films, tours, and advertisements, leaving a lasting mark in the memory of classic Vegas. As new resorts with modern, high-tech, and breakthrough experiences emerged, Venetian Palazzo seemed to be categorized as a traditional resort, even while maintaining luxury. Today's visitors, especially those seeking Instagram-worthy spots, may find it hard to see Venetian Palazzo as a cutting-edge destination. The nostalgic Italian style can sometimes feel a bit slow compared to the fast-paced modern life of Vegas. By the end of 2020, Las Vegas Sands appeared to shift focus toward Macau, and in 2022 Venetian Palazzo was sold to Apollo Global Management for a total of about $6.25 billion, with Vici Properties purchasing the land. The change in ownership likely affected the investment model, upgrades, and service perception. Today, Venetian Palazzo seems to be viewed as both luxurious and old-fashioned, causing some visitors to rate the experience as worthwhile, but no longer at peak glory. Fontainebleau, Las Vegas seemed like a strange mix of Miami-style luxury heritage and an ambition to define a new destination amid Vegas's relentless competition. It was once expected to be the Strip's future icon, but looking back over nearly 2 decades, Fontainebleau seems not just a resort but a testament to big dreams, sometimes challenged by reality. Was that dream ever truly realized, or did it feel like an architectural tragedy in the desert? Initially, Fontainebleau seemed like Vegas's rising star, a symbol of luxury and innovation. But then, things didn't go as planned. The 2008-2009 global financial crisis seemed like the first strong wind shaking this dream. Many banks withdrew funding, the project faced lawsuits, forcing the developer to file Chapter 11 when construction was about 70% complete. For many years after, Fontainebleau went through periods of abandonment and changing ownership. It was bought by Carl Icahn, but construction didn't continue. Then another group planned to reopen it as the Drew Las Vegas, but the COVID-19 pandemic seemed to halt all plans. Finally, the original owner, Jeffrey Soffer, returned, restarted the project, and opened Fontainebleau nearly 18 years after construction began. However, even after opening, the resort seemed to struggle to attract steady guests. Some online posts even described it as a ghost town on the Strip, with empty casino floors and main lobbies. Nevertheless, Fontainebleau remains a massive tower, its blue glass reflecting sunlight and neighboring resorts, serving as a reminder that Vegas once had highly ambitious projects. With over 3,600 rooms, a 173,000 SQFT casino, and a system of restaurants, bars, and convention spaces, Fontainebleau appears aimed at the Strip's premium experience. Some visitors praise the modern style, new amenities, and spacious layout, but many also note uneven service, high costs, and a sense that it's not lively enough compared to resorts that once set the standard in Vegas. Resorts World Las Vegas seems to have emerged as an iconic project for a new era on the Las Vegas Strip, a massive resort and casino complex worth around $4.3 billion. Opening on June 24, 2021 after years of preparation. With its modern exterior and giant LED displays, it likely made many people feel that the north end of the Strip finally had a new heart, rivaling long-standing icons like Bellagio or Caesars. The origins of Resorts World are rather unique. Genting Group, a multinational corporation from Malaysia, acquired the land once home to the Stardust machine. After another project, Echelon Place, was abandoned following the 2008 financial crisis. It could be said that Resorts World was expected to light up the North Strip, part of an effort to revive a street that had seen many ups and downs. But after a few years of operation, many might wonder whether this project still holds the status everyone dreamed of, or if it has become an ambitious yet unstable symbol, caught between market expectations and the realities of modern business. After the pandemic, international and family visitors appear to have decreased significantly. This means that Resorts World, despite its grandeur, may struggle to maintain the visitor numbers needed to achieve the expected business performance. While competitors try to create unique experiences, Resorts World is sometimes criticized for being complicated and lacking a core highlight to draw guests back. Some online communities have even noted that while the casino is large, the lively atmosphere seems lacking on many ordinary days, giving the place a somewhat quiet feel compared to typical Vegas expectations. The Hard Rock Guitar Hotel seems to have arrived as a fresh breeze on the Las Vegas Strip, with its giant guitar image that anyone seeing it for the first time would find unforgettable. This project didn't just appear out of nowhere, it is the result of a full rebrand and reconstruction on the land once occupied by the Mirage, one of the most iconic symbols of modern Las Vegas. It seems that just a few days after Mirage closed, work on Hard Rock began. By July 2024, workers had dismantled the volcano to make way for the guitar tower. By late 2025, the guitar's body began to take shape on the Strip skyline, making passers-by unable to look away. However, public opinion appears divided. Some people openly ask sarcastically, can a giant guitar beat the memory of the Mirage volcano, or is it just a cool-looking symbol that doesn't really feel like Vegas as it once did? The removal of the volcano, a symbol tied to the memories of many visitors, seems to have left some feeling heartbroken but necessary to make room for something new. Social reactions suggest that some older guests find replacing Mirage with Hard Rock a bit rushed, while others believe Vegas needs to innovate to avoid getting stuck in the past. Vegas tourism now seems heavily focused on entertainment and international branding, and the Hard Rock Guitar Hotel is expected to be a new highlight in that experience. But among competitors like Sphere or Fontainebleau, Hard Rock appears to need to work harder, not just to stand tall and look impressive, but also to attract guests long-term. So, is this place already at risk of failing even before it officially opens? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. The idea for Landmark began in the early 1960s, when Frank Carroll purchased a large plot of land near the Nevada Convention Center, with the ambition of building a Hollywood-scale resort. Initially, the plan was to build only 14 floors, but ambitions seemed to grow, adding extra stories to achieve the title of the tallest building in Nevada. However, the project quickly ran into financial troubles, leaving the structure nearly 80% complete before being mothballed for many years. The Landmark's opening night was probably one of the most spectacular events of its time, with guests including Apollo astronauts, celebrities, and politicians. That moment seems to remain vivid in the memories of those who followed classic Vegas. Landmark was located off the Strip, near the convention center, which made many visitors seemingly miss it while strolling along Las Vegas Boulevard. Despite its unique architecture, Landmark struggled to compete with mega resorts like the Mirage, Caesar's Palace, or Bellagio, where enormous scale and superior amenities seem to always attract attention. Landmark seems to be a testament to a highly experimental period of Vegas where big ideas were sometimes swept away by circumstance. The Landmark Tower, though brief in its glory, still reminds older visitors of a different Vegas, where memories and personal experiences mattered more than amenities. Landmark stood between two generations of Vegas, the era of early resorts and the rise of mega resorts, making it a fleeting yet unforgettable memory. Dunes opened with a distinctive Middle Eastern architectural touch, a 3-0, foot sultan statue, a spacious campus, and slogans that made visitors feel as if they were stepping into a dreamlike world in the desert. In its early years, the resort expanded with an 1/8-hole emerald green golf course and original shows like Minsky's Follies and Casino de Paris, attracting over 2 million visitors in just the first few years. Even so, Dunes seemed to struggle from the very beginning. As the newest resort to open at the time and located slightly south of more prominent competitors, the competition appeared fierce from the start. Although a center of entertainment, Dunes always seemed on the fringe compared to the Central Strip area, making many walking visitors likely to overlook it in favor of rivals near Caesars or Sands. As other resorts increasingly invested in massive scale and luxurious experiences, Dunes maintained its classic style but perhaps lacked the fresh appeal to retain modern guests. When resorts like Mirage, Bellagio, and Wynn emerged with massive scale, modern amenities, and luxury services, Dunes began to feel outdated, unable to hold guests seeking new experiences. Ultimately, Dunes closed on the 26th of January 1993, after nearly 38 years of operation, and was sold to Steve Wynn for around $75 million, a sign that the old brand no longer had the competitive strength to survive. Sands was the 7th resort on the Strip, and it quickly became famous thanks to the Copa Room, where legendary singers performed alongside the Rat Pack, creating an energy that few places could match. At the time, it seemed no other venue on the Strip could compare to the Copa Room. Like the center of cool, Sands was associated with performances by Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, and Sammy Davis Jr. Faces that many today still see as icons of sophistication, of the Vegas that everyone once dreamed of visiting. So why did the Sands gradually fade in the eyes of travelers? As resorts like Mirage, Bellagio, and Wynn opened, Sands struggled to keep pace in terms of scale and amenities. Its classic refined style started to feel a bit old to those seeking bigger, flashier experiences, a kind of old Vegas nostalgic to many, but viewed by younger generations as ancient. Moreover, Sands went through multiple ownership changes, including Howard Hughes' purchase in 1967. After that, the resort seemed unable to maintain the same financial strength, and its owners struggled to keep up with the trends of expanding scale, luxury amenities, and spectacular shows that new competitors continuously brought. This likely contributed to Sands gradually losing appeal with guests seeking modern experiences. The Sands implosion was perhaps one of the most memorable demolition events in Vegas history. Over 200,000 people gathered to watch a symbol once tied to the Rat Pack era erased from the skyline. Today, the Sands site has become the Venetian, leaving nostalgic visitors with the sense that old Vegas is disappearing, from the Copa Room stages to lounges where stars and tourists once mingled. The Hacienda was once one of the most prominent resorts on the southern Las Vegas Strip, easily recognizable by its neon horse and rider sign and a Mexican-inspired design blended with classic entertainment. For many drivers coming from California in the 1950s, Hacienda was considered the gateway to Las Vegas, a starting point for a journey that was both thrilling and full of promise. Hacienda was originally built by Warren Bailey with the ambition of creating a unique stopover, not just a place to sleep, but a distinct experience. While initially just a hotel, a casino was quickly added in October 1956, only a few months after opening, as a way to keep guests longer, turning it into not just a stop, but a central entertainment spot for travelers along the way. Located quite far from the Strip's center at the time, Hacienda seemed to attract families and budget-conscious visitors who wanted to experience Vegas without focusing solely on traditional gambling. Its approachable, less flashy vibe may have made many feel more comfortable amid a city full of lights and extravagance. Hacienda underwent multiple ownership changes from the Bailey family to investment groups, and eventually Circus Enterprises, which seems to have scattered long-term strategy. Despite expansion plans and even proposals to replace it with a South American-themed resort, these ideas never seemed strong enough to retain guests in the fiercely competitive market. Amid the Strip's continuous reinvention, Hacienda struggled to keep up with the new pace. Originally opened as the Tally-Ho Hotel in 1962, Aladdin was unusual at the time for being built without a casino. After several name changes and renovations, Aladdin officially reopened in April 1966, showcasing an impressive Arabian Nights theme. The architecture and overall experience at Aladdin seemed groundbreaking, turning the mystique of the Middle East into a dazzling Vegas spectacle, from the massive Aladdin lamp to the entertainment showroom and expansive casino. Both guests and passers-by likely looked up in awe, captivated by its quirky yet enchanting charm. As larger and more modern resorts began to appear with massive marketing budgets, bigger casinos, and cutting-edge amenities, Aladdin gradually lost some of its appeal, especially among visitors seeking modern and luxurious experiences. The classic Middle Eastern style that once marked it as trendy began to feel somewhat dated compared to newer, flashier resorts. Over several decades, Aladdin faced financial difficulties and changed ownership multiple times, making long-term strategy appear scattered. Although upgrades and renovations followed current trends, these efforts seemed insufficient to keep Aladdin prominent among a Strip increasingly defined by constant renewal. During the 1950s and 60s, Desert Inn was likely an essential part of the Vegas experience. The Crystal Showroom, with its lavish performances, became a gathering place for artists and celebrities, including Frank Sinatra, who appeared on the D.I. stage, leaving an indelible impression on visitors' memories. Beyond the casino, D.I. also featured an 1/8-hole golf course that hosted the PGA Tour's Tournament of Champions from 1953 to 1966. Golfers and visitors who love the sport likely still remember legendary figures clad in golf attire on the Nevada desert course, a detail both luxurious and evocative of a time when Vegas was less crowded. So what went wrong? As mega resorts with enormous casinos, grand rooms, and modern amenities emerged, Desert Inn, despite its rich history, seemed to fall behind. New visitors appeared to seek more modern experiences, larger rooms, and luxurious facilities, making DI's classic style increasingly nostalgic. Desert Inn went through multiple ownership changes. These transitions seemed to scatter its long-term development strategy, making it difficult for the resort to maintain lasting appeal. Even with a $200 million investment in 1997 for renovations and expansion, Desert Inn could not compete with projects on the scale of Bellagio or MGM Grand, which were drawing customers more strongly. Despite the effort, DI still seemed overwhelmed in a race where the speed of innovation was the decisive factor. The Stardust project was initiated by Tony Cornero in 1954, but he seemingly never lived to see its completion. Financial groups and family members carried the project to the finish line, resulting in a massive resort with 1,065 rooms, a large casino, and a diverse array of amenities. From the very beginning, Stardust seemed determined to create its own universe on the Strip, with an outer space theme and a giant neon marquee that made anyone passing by stop, take photos, and remember it. Stardust was not just an ordinary casino, it seemed to serve as a hub of entertainment for generations of American visitors, where people could place bets, watch performances, and experience the 24/7 Vegas lifestyle. When Frank "Lefty" Rosenthal added a sportsbook in 1975, Stardust became one of the most popular spots on the Strip for sports viewing and betting, a symbol associated with excitement, fun, and the laughter of its guests. As massive mega resorts with larger casinos, luxurious amenities, and global brands began to emerge, Stardust maintained its older style. This made it feel smaller in the eyes of new visitors, who appeared to be seeking more modern and luxurious experiences. Once remembered as a budget-friendly resort, Stardust gradually seemed out of step with the desires of a new market, especially amid increasing competition. Although Stardust is gone, the Starburst neon sign remains on display at the Neon Museum in downtown Vegas. For those over 55, that image still evokes a part of Vegas history where lights never dimmed, live music echoed, and the laughter and rush of tourists lingered in memory. Looking back over nearly half a century of luxury icons on the Las Vegas Strip, from the Mirage with its spectacular volcano, the elegant Bellagio with its legendary fountains, to Sands, Dunes, and Landmark, each was once a dream, leaving an indelible mark on visitors' memories. Today, as many classic resorts give way to modern, tech-driven projects and shopping centers grow quieter, Las Vegas seems to be renewing itself while holding on to old memories. New icons open up opportunities for different experiences, but memories of legendary resorts continue to live on in the hearts of those who came before. Which moments on the Strip do you remember most? Share your memories and perspectives in the comments so the story of Las Vegas can continue to be told. This video uses publicly available sources and official references to provide information about U.S. states. Viewers should verify details through official channels and consider their own needs before making decisions about living, investing, or traveling. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching!